Hello and welcome to a new video on my channel. This is kind of an opinionated video and it's a top 10. This is reflecting back on Battle of the Beasts and this is my top 10 favourite battles from that series, from series 1 of Battle of the Beasts. I'm your host Adam Ferns and I was the person that hosted Battle of the Beasts anyway. So this is entirely my opinion, given my top 10 battles from that series, and I just realised I wrote down my top 10 but I didn't actually list them down with numbers. So yeah, hold on, give me time. Whilst I'm sorting out a list, I shall go over the placements of the seasons that participate in that series, basically in order of the seasons getting eliminated from the tournament. So, as you know, only 13 seasons took place in that battle, in this Series 1. And last place was Series 4, followed by Series 13. Amulets of Avantia, Warriors Road, and 11th place being Series 6. The World of Chaos was all eliminated in Round 2. 3 seasons being eliminated in Round 2. Bit surprising, but not majorly bad, because one is a bad series with Beasts anyway, one is an okay one, and one is a phenomenal one. So it's kind of interesting that 2 of them got eliminated, but Series 4, yeah, I see why. 10th place is Series 12, the Darkest Hour. 9th is Series 3, the Dark Realm. 8th is Series... No, I'm not going to go to 8th. Series 12 and Series 3 got eliminated in round 3. They got eliminated kind of close to each other, actually. I believe the last beast standing in Series 12 was Merca, crushed by Rock. And the last beast standing in Series 3, I believe, was Tusk. That was at the end of the round, actually. Killed by Elic. So, very satisfying that was. 8th place is Series 2. The last beast there was Sultra, killed by Rock. Rock hates these guys. And 7th is Series 8. Balisk, killed by Torpix. And next is Series 11, killed by Crestor. Serpio was. And another beast that was killed in round 4. Series 10, Master of the Beasts, killed by Carnivora. Yeah. 4 seasons getting eliminated in the same round. Kind of crazy, really. And they were all back-to-back as well, because Rock versus Sultra, that was the first one, followed by Torpix versus Balisk, Crestor versus Serpio, then Carnivora versus Noctilla. So we're down to 5 seasons, and I believe it was 5 beasts remaining. So yeah, 5th place was Series 10. No, 4 seasons remaining, 5 beasts remaining then. 4th was the... only 1 series got eliminated from that, actually. 4th is Series 5. Shade of Death. Rock was the last one standing, killed by Crestor. 3 seasons remain in the top 3. And 3rd was Series 1. Last beast standing was Furno. It was killed by Torpix. And now we're down to the final 2 beasts as well. 2nd place was Series 7 and 1st was Series 9. The winner was Torpix. Final beast to be killed was Crestor. And now when I didn't even sort this out anyway. So I'll give you 9th. This is going to take a while. You 4, 5. You 5 are definitely the top 5. So 8th. Let's give you... Actually, let's give you 7th because you were cringy. 6th because you were brutal. And the rest were just great. I'll give you 5th. 4th because people would hate me if I got that any higher. 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Okay, there we are. Okay, so I officially gave them rankings now. Sorry about that slight confusion. But that list, basically, this list, I was actually meant to do in the final episode of Battle of the Beasts, but I may or may not have forgotten. Oops. So now this is just ranking my top 10 favourite battles from that series. And this is my opinion, as I said. So if your opinion's different, please in the comments below what your favourite battle was. And let's get right into this. So coming in 10th place, we're going to have Naga the Sea Monster versus Balisk the Water Snake. Now this one is actually one of my favourites because it had my favourite water beast versus a beast which I wasn't too fond of at the beginning of the tournament. And when I realised there's no way Naga can win that fight, I just realised Balisk can make it really far. If he gets a good victim in round 3, which he did, Balisk can make it all the way to round 4, probably round 5. Unfortunately, he didn't make it to round 5, but realising that Balisk can actually do great damages to this, make a great dent in this tournament, for such an underrated beast, is actually a good thing. Round 1 victim for Balisk was Solak, which I was debating on putting on here, but that wasn't really a great battle because I actually can't remember it. 9th place is probably going to be a surprise for some of you. Pardon me. Vespic versus Carnivora. Now this battle was unfortunately where I had to say goodbye to Vespic, my favourite beasts of that tournament anyway. Realising when I saw this matchup that Lucas gave me, I was upset, and also realised that Vespic had to die because there's no way she can beat Carnivora when Carnivora has a heat breath which can burn Vespic alive. Not to mention Carnivora had the size advantage, and with Vespic being unable to have a swarm help her, it's kind of a one-sided fight that was. But I gave what I think was a good end to Vespic, and rather fitting as well. I was debating on putting Vespic versus the Mixers here as well, but it edged out over Naga versus Balisk. 8th place is Hawkeye versus Kronos, another round 2 fight. And for this fight I went in pretty confident knowing that Kronos was going to win. And yet I somehow manipulated it for Hawkeye to win by having Hawkeye create a tornado that sucks Kronos in, and Kronos just get hit and battered by so many things, including blades of grass, that ultimately killed Kronos, and then having Hawkeye, I think, snap Kronos' neck. Pretty brutal. But yeah, that's where I realised the wait, Hawkeye's actually pretty brutal in this tournament. Not when she disemboweled Epos or anything, just when she killed Kronos. That's why I was like, that's a pretty aggressive beast. 7th place is probably most cringy out of all of these battles. Koba versus Kamar. Well, Kamar versus Koba if we're going numerically. This one I wouldn't say is cringy because of the fight. I'll say it's more cringy because of what I was doing in between the fight. It was really weird. I don't know what was going through my head back then. All I know is I'm not doing that now, and if Koba or Kamar ever get into any more fights, either against each other or not, I would be a bit more normal when it comes to giving them fights, where it comes to giving them fights that I think they deserve doing. But when it came down to it, I realised that I did like the fight, as when Koba gave me the idea that, hey, you could just change the arena, making the arena a whole bunch of different things. I brought that back in a later battle I'm going to be talking about. And then when it came to the end, where Koba was disguised as Mortax and having what was Koba, but Mortax dragging his scythe along the ground like a gladiator would when they're about to finish someone off, is this effect that I created in my mind, which I loved a lot, and I brought back in a later fight in the series. This one was by far the most effective method of that effects, and I think it was a really good end to Kamar in that fight. Even though it was round 1, it was a good round 1 fight, and by far the best one. 6th place is a round 3 fight, actually. Hawkeye versus Carnivora. Now, this one, the one that I kind of aimed to win from the beginning, did win. Carnivora, I wanted to win, thought she would win, and did win. The thing that actually boosted it up was that I made Hawkeye so brutal in that fight, where as soon as she came out of that chamber, she charged straight for Carnivora, creating a hurricane, sucking Carnivora in, knocking her unconscious, and scratching and clawing and pecking at her repeatedly. Carnivora got back up, shook Hawkeye off, blasted her with a heat breath, and then just started doing the same thing. It's a bit simple compared to other fights, but to me it was a very gruesome fight, and it was a rather quick one thinking about it as well. 5th place is a round 2 fight, Sultra versus Cobra. Now, this one was the most anticipated fight in round 2, from Lucas's perspective anyway, and mine. And it was probably a great fight, and it was. I made it a great fight. I wasn't being cringy like I was for the last Cobra fight, but I did take a page out of that fight's book though, and essentially done the same thing by making Sultra go to different locations, whilst Cobra was disguised as something else to kill Sultra. And little did I know, that fight was out before episode 3 of series 7 of the Lynx's series, where Cobra disguised herself as a tiny monkey to torment Sultra. Go to episode 3 of the Lynx's series and you'll find that a monkey is tormenting this guy called Apex, which was actually kind of weird when I realised they came out at roughly the same time. So kind of a mind link that me and Lucas had there. I'm not sure what he would call it, but it's pretty damn weird. And that fight, I also brought back the effects of Cobra dragging something along the ground ready to kill his victim. Because Sultra was like on the ground, not really pinned down, but really weak, about to die. The Emperor gives the thumbs down, Cobra smiles, drags his claws along the ground ready to kill Sultra with one swipe. Cobra lets his guard down with his overconfidence, looked straight in Sultra's eyes, while Sultra did the same thing, looking into his eyes, turning Cobra to stone. Sultra looked back up at the Emperor, thumbs down, got her whip, wrapped it round Cobra's body and arms, pulled, breaking it. Break it. Okay, so that's how I say breaking. Okay, got it. Breaking it up completely. That was a great fight, and even though I tried recreating the finishing blow from Sultra in the round 3 fight, I don't think I did as good of a job. So this is by far the best fight that Sultra was in, and the best fight that Cobra was in, actually, because Cobra died in that one. Moving on to 4th place, another round 3 fight, and this one is probably the most debatable with the winner. There were a few people that understood why I gave this one the win, and there are some people, including Lucas, that was pissed that I killed off this guy. This fight was Silver versus Serpio, and I don't know why, but so many people hated me because Serpio won that fight. I know Serpio's from a bad series, I said that so many times before, but I had to give credit where it's due. Serpio I saw winning more fights than Silver. Anyway, what's done is done. Silver died, Serpio died later in that tournament anyway. So yeah, but I think the reason why I liked that fight is that in all the fights that Serpio was in, actually, his wings got snapped off. But with this fight, Serpio's wings didn't just get snapped off, but Serpio, because when Serpio was being able to fly, Silver was held on tight to Serpio's tail, clawing at it, making his way up to kill Serpio in the sky, where he'll just plummet down and Silver will be riding him down to the ground. And what Serpio did was pull an Aaron Ralston and snap basically use his mouth and break his tail off, causing Silver to fall down. But Silver pounced off the tail, ready to grab onto Serpio. But Serpio saw that coming, does a twist, and knocks Silver down to the ground with his wings. That was a part of that fight which I liked a lot. And then where Silver just plummeted down into the icy lake, where he came out frozen, and his fur being, well, not really frozen, but really cold and wet. His fur being all wet and soggy, being unable to take the cold. Serpio shot an ice beam from his eye, freezing Silver up, and then eventually Silver broke out, but then Serpio done a neck snap towards the end of that fight, which was a rather simple end, but I think the build-up to that fight, making it a really close one, is what I liked most about it, especially that Aaron Ralston part. If these two ever fight again, I think the results may be different, but then again they may not be. I will get persuaded by Lucas to make Silver win that fight, most likely anyway. But I best hope that they don't get into another fight again, because I still think Serpio would win. Third place, we have actually the second to last fight in this series, and that's Furno versus Torpix. This fight was actually a really good one. Torpix and Furno were both great beasts throughout this entire tournament. Furno killing rather intimidating beasts being... no, he didn't kill Noctilla. He killed Linker, Fang, another beast I'm forgetting about. Skipped round 4, so yeah. Killed only 3 beasts. He killed 4 beasts, skipped round 5. He killed Elic. Who else did he kill? He killed Fang. He killed Elic, and he killed damn, I forgot his name. Linker. But what else did Furno kill? That is something that I can't remember. All I know is it's not the favourite of any of the seasons here, so I actually do not know. I think probably it was from Series 9, might be. If so, what it was, I don't know. But Furno got a fair amount of kills. Torpix, up to that point, got 5 kills. So one more than Furno, and it was a great, really close fight. Furno being fire resistant, Torpix being acid resistant. I gave the edge to Torpix though, because typically, since snakes are reptiles, they're cold-blooded, meaning heat is quite good for them. If Torpix went against Blaze, it may be a different story. But I think next time I do a Battle of the Beasts tournament with these beasts anyway, which will be the all generation, the entire series, all of them, I really want to see Torpix get killed off rather early, or not to make it to the top, because I like to see different beasts make it personally. I don't have a preference because I don't know what would make it, actually. It depends what the matchups are. But Torpix did great in that battle and made it to the finals. Second place for the second best fight is Crestor versus Serpio. Now, I'm sure you're seeing a theme here. Like, just have a fight from one of the finalists and have a fight from the other finalists, which was Crestor versus Serpio. This fight was a great fight for so many people, where they got to see the slayer of Silver the Wild Terror get killed by Crestor. And this one was a great one. Before this fight was announced, though, Lucas did message me saying, you best hope that you make Serpio die in a pool of blood. Well, he didn't say pool of blood, he said have Serpio covered in a pool of crimson. So not necessarily die, well, Actually, yeah, he did say die, but he didn't say there had to be in that round. So Serpio could have easily made it. But he didn't actually say which beast's blood. That is what I took advantage of and made Serpio get drenched in Crestal's blood when Serpio cut Crestal's underbelly. But Crestal was able to stay alive long enough to knock Torpix over with his claws, snap the wings, and slash at Serpio, shoot acid into the sky, landing all around the arena, hitting Serpio, sort of melting him down to just very weak. Crestal got up to Serpio and just used his head to just smash his head repeatedly into Serpio, smashing Serpio into millions of pieces. And like I said, in a pool of crimson, like I promised to Lucas. I hope that fight was a good revenge for Silver. I don't know if it was a good one, but I liked it. I personally did. And going on to number 1, I'm sure you know what it is because it's, I think, the best fight. Crestor the Crushing Terror versus Torpix the Twisted Serpent. The final battle of that series. Of this series, anyway. And it was a close one. Because I couldn't decide which beast could win. Because they're both just as good as each other. And both being acid resistant, meaning their main ability had to be used for something else. Their main ability is completely useless. So what I did was made Crestor and Torpix go at each other, ripping chunks of flesh and scales out, and then ultimately have them both shoot acid into where they opened the wound into the insides of their body. For Torpix, it was the underbelly that Crestor torn open, and for Torpix, it was the top head of the back of Crestor's head that he opened. They both shot acid into it. And unfortunately for you Crestor lovers, Torpix's acid was better and melted Crestor's skull. But I added some dramatic effects there where they both collapsed to the ground, and after what seems like an eternity, one beast rose and slithered back into his cave. And then, with the music background being "We Are the Champions," I announced the winner of the tournament being Torpix the Twisting Serpent. And it was a great battle throughout that, actually. I believe that for most of that video, actually, most of it was a battle, which is what I aim to do, but for some of them, I don't really manage to do that at all. Now, that is my ranking for my top 10 favourite battles of Battle of the Beast Season 1. Now, I'm not going to do my top 10 least favourite because I don't really want to talk about it. I don't really have a lot that I don't like. One that will be the worst, though, is the one that was a matchup that didn't have a battle. And that was Vigarash versus Karaka. It was obvious which one will win. So, yeah, so please feel free to leave in the comments below what your favourite battle was of Season 1. And please leave in the comments below why it is your favourite. What I believe Lucas's favourite was Fang versus Furno, because it was a good matchup and a good battle. And rather conveniently, it was the first battle of round 1, but it was the 33rd battle of round 1. Book 1 is Furno. Book 33 is Fang, and that is something that I found kind of hilarious when I first saw it. So that's kind of convenient. Anyway, with that being said, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for sticking with me for babbling on for God knows how long, and I'll see you next time.